right. Good morning, everybody. I am Greg Belkin. I'm Senior Director of Product Marketing here at Jitterbit. Welcome to Breakfast with an Executive. So look, it's early here in the morning in the Ashburnham, Massachusetts office of Jitterbit, also known as my kitchen. And I have to tell you, it's nice and quiet here. I do my best thinking when everybody is still asleep. And so the wife, the kids, they're all asleep. It's just me in the house. And because I have way too much free time on my hands, I started thinking about Jitterbit's app builder, something that I've been working on for a long time, something that the company's been working on for a long time. And, in the last couple of days, I've really been thinking hard about the effect that it's having on both the customers and on Jitterbit. And I thought to myself, what better person to have on the program, the next episode of Breakfast with an Executive, with somebody who is equally as passionate and loves Builder as much as I do. And that's Alan Sabin, who's our Senior Director of App Builder Sales. Alan, thanks for joining me this early in the morning. Welcome to Jitterbit's Breakfast with an Executive.
Greg, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. This is a great idea. I love getting together and talking about App Builder and some of what we're doing with it and some of what our customers are doing with it.
Cool. Alan, one of the interesting things about App Builder is that not only do we sell it, but we also use it internally. That's to me kind of a hallmark of dedication. Not only are we offering this as something to our customers, but we're taking the time and adapting our processes internally around something that App Builder can benefit us. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. I mean, you're on the front lines of App Builder, right along with the team. And I just wanted to kind of talk that process through, because the part of, where we're, drinking our own Kool-Aid, or whatever phrase you want to use it, that's something to me that means a lot. And I think that it means a lot to our customers. And so I guess first question for you is just to talk about a little bit about the business challenge. I mean, why would Jitterbit take App Builder and use it internally? When I ask this question, I'm curious from the line of business perspective, because obviously App Builder is designed to help both line of business and IT, but really today I'd like to take it from the line of business perspective and just ask you, why do it? What was the business challenge that we were faced with?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's funny, my initial response was going to be focused on the line of business owner. And the reason why is when we look at App Builder and how it enables very specific, what we'll call gap apps, if you will, right, which are clearly applications that are needed at the intersection of multiple enterprise SaaS applications where they don't exist today. I'll give you an example for that. Jitterbit not only uses App Builder, but we use our entire Harmony stack. So across all of our applications, we have created a set of enterprise business operations that are fully integrated and allow us to continue to build upon those integrations. And that is the case of what happened with what we did with App Builder. So we didn't talk about this yet, but Jitterbit just completed our 4th acquisition, right? So as we continue to grow through a merger, through an M&A strategy, one of the things that we have to do very quickly is integrate all of the intellectual property that we've acquired as part of those acquisitions, right? And so we took a look at, so I'm employee number 21, I think, to give you an idea. Today we have just under 600 employees. Wow. So I was talking to a line of business owner in Jitterbit, in this case, our senior director of HR. And she said, you know what? She's like, I love the fact that we switched to Bamboo HR and it's working great for me. And I'm glad that we've integrated it into our stack. But what I'm missing is an easy to use application that allows me to have all of our now 600 employees go through an open enrollment process and make it very easy for all of those employees to select the benefits that they want, and also have a bi-directional integration with Bamboo HR. So we, after talking with Stephanie about her requirements, we began to envision what should the app look like that each one of our employees are going to interact with. And so, Greg, I'll ask you because I know that you've interacted with the app as I have to, select your family's benefits. What did you think of the experience that we created?
Yeah, well, so far it's so good. It's made things a lot easier. For me, one of the barriers to getting the job done, in me from a marketing perspective, is having to go through these different stages of HR and any other sort of mundane process, fill out forms, sign up for benefits. I mean, that stuff takes a long time, and it's time that I could be doing, other things like marketing, which is my main day-to-day job. So it's been a good experience for me. Frankly, it speeds things up for me.
Absolutely. And so we'll continue to focus on different line of business owners within Jitterbit, whereby applications could be very specific for their particular department needs and how they want to be able to aggregate and look at data.
Mhm. Great. So sounds good. So let me ask you this, Alan. How difficult was it, after we made the decision, okay, we're going to go and do this. We're going to, embrace benefits management with App Builder. And we said, now's the time we're going to put in the work to get that done. How difficult was it to go through that process, and really connect it and do what we needed to do?
So we went through kind of two processes. We met with the line of business owner and we understood what her requirements are. We understood everything about the use case, if you will, right? So not only the user experience that we wanted our Jitterbit employees to have, but we also needed to identify what systems we're going to be integrated with. Is it a one-way push of data? Is it a bi-directional push of data? Because if you think about this, not only were we looking at open enrollment for selecting of benefits, but that's just one of the functions within our employee 360, if you will. And the employee 360 is an entire wheel that starts and stops with a set of common defined processes, right? And you mentioned, for example, filling out new employee paperwork as an example is one such mundane operation, but it has to happen, right? What we are doing is we are automating as many of those processes as we can. So as soon as IT says, great, this person has accepted the offer, that information comes from HR, IT gets involved, the appropriate hardware is commissioned, the appropriate downstream SaaS applications are provisioned for that user. So all of the things that are necessary for that employee to be productive on day one happens as a result of embracing the employee 360 experience.
Great. And yeah, and I got to tell you, is somebody who when I join an organization, and frankly, when I go in my career journey working for an organization, I have pretty high hopes, and high expectations for that. I admit that sometimes I kind of get a little grouchy when things start, slowing down, and I say, oh, well, why is it that we have to do, this? It takes a while. Like, I have my marching orders. Like, anything that sort of takes away time wise from those marching orders, it makes it a little bit tougher for me. And so, and I think that when new employees particularly join an organization, that's the moment. Those first couple of weeks, those first couple of months really make or break their kind of attitudes and their momentum in the organization. They don't want to come in and spend weeks or even days just trying to fill out paperwork before they can do what they were actually hired to do. They want to get to work now. And so, the fact that we can speed that up with App Builder is wonderful.
I think the other thing that you have to address is kind of the cultural transformation that goes either when you bring in a new employee through hiring someone, or you bring in 60 or 80 employees through an acquisition, is the human aspect of that, right? Does someone feel like, okay, this company that just acquired us, they actually care about us? Look at the application that they created for us to select our benefits, right? In fact, we track information about people's children, to be holistic, if you will, about understanding our employees. And so it's deep within the culture of the organization as well. And I think that is part of the genuine authenticity that we bring when we look at applications to benefit folks.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Well, let me ask you this, Alan. Last question, and I'll let you get on with your day. We've talked a lot about App Builder and the employee experience. What do you see as some of the potential next steps for App Builder? I mean, we talked about also a lot in particular about benefits management. I mean, where do you think this goes in the future? Where's the potential?
The potential is so wide. For example, let me give you a real world example of an organization that we worked with, right, outside of Jitterbit, where they wanted a centralized location to deal with problem line items on a particular series of EDI documents, right? And they wanted their employees to very quickly be able to come to a centralized location, be immediately identified. These are the documents that have errors, be able to look at the error, resolve the error, process the document very quickly. Typically, what they might have done in the past is sent the document back to their vendor. The vendor would have made adjustments. They would have sent that back. And it would have potentially even impacted their vendor rating with that particular vendor. So by bringing in house the ability to very quickly resolve a problem like that and eliminate about 80% of the manual task and manual time in doing so was a win-win. So
Yeah.
there's a completely different example of App Builder solving a particular business problem, right, at the intersection of a couple of different sets of requirements, that being EDI processing, customer satisfaction, order fulfillment.
Yeah, great. It's interesting to think about how far we've come in the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, think about, we all have so much on our plates, we all have so much expectation, and there are times where, we need new processes and new applications and new data streams. And, it's kind of been incumbent upon us previously to rely on IT to do all of these, heavy jobs and to create these pathways and these applications for us. And now, like, people like me who have who don't necessarily have an IT degree. I mean, that's my brother-in-law. I do not have. We now, can be in the driver's seat of putting together these processes, and it's great for us, and it's great. It's got to got to be just as great for IT folks who also have tons on their plate and have to move from project to project very quickly.
Well, I think that what it truly does is it allows IT to really focus on the very complex enterprise problems that they are trying to address.
Yeah.
And then it empowers the line of business owner and some of their staff to also be empowered to create specific business applications. And so it becomes a win-win, right? Because as part of that, the IT organization has already looked at Jitterbit. They've already validated our security is fine. They've already looked at App Builder. So there's comfort there in knowing that the applications are being configured per their IT standards and their security specifications and such things in that matter.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Well, Alan, this was great. I mean, it's just I mean, I know it's early in the morning, and I really appreciate that you got up and had a little, shared some thoughts during quiet time. And we're both very passionate about App Builder, and it's exciting to see where it goes. And I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, I do as well. Thank you for having me on this episode, Greg. And let's get together in another month or so and talk about some next round of applications that Jitterbit or our customers are creating.
Sounds good, Alan.
All
Talk to
right.
you. Yep.